Hey gang, today I want to talk to you a little bit about scripting, how to write scripts, and just a couple of little tips for making your script sound better. I hope you use some scripts, but we want to be very careful not to have everything so scripted that it's not believable. That becomes the big problem. I see DJs sometimes who write out the simplest phrases and use these repetitive phrases over and over, and it just doesn't sound believable. But you don't want to leave anything out either. So you can script some and then know the script well enough to get through it. Here's one of the simplest tips for making it all sound believable. It sounds kind of basic, but it's really just this. Use contractions. When we speak in contractions. When we write or when we read and write without contractions. So we'll say, he will not go to the market. But in real life, you probably wouldn't say that. You'd say, yeah, he won't go to the market, right? So if you want it to sound more believable, you take out those words and make them contractions. That's a really good tip to give your brides and grooms, best man, maid of honor, parents, people who are doing toasts for their welcomings or toasts as well, because it doesn't sound so stuffy. So here's one I have coming up for a wedding in a couple of weeks. I'm going to read just a simple little phrase with and without a contraction, and you can see what I mean. And this is just part of one of the introductions for one of the wedding party. I'll just read this part with the contraction. And she is a hardworking and determined woman, and when she is not working, she loves traveling, going to breweries, and hosting dinner for friends. So that's okay. But if I read the exact same phrase and I just make a couple of contractions, it sounds so much smoother. And she's a hardworking and determined woman, and when she's not working, she loves traveling, going to breweries, and hosting dinner for friends, blah, 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 right? So that simple. So to write it, we write a little more formally. So by all means, go ahead and write it out. And then when you read it out loud, not just to yourself, read it out loud, see what it sounds like. You want it to sound as believable as possible. I do that a lot when I'm not always able to get toasts in advance, but whenever I get toasts or welcomings, those sort of things in advance. And if people ask for my input, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's the one input that I'll give them is just loosen that up a little bit so it sounds a little bit more believable. Script what you need to, but you need to deliver that enough time so that you're not fumbling through it. Make your font big enough so that you can just glance at it. You're not having to, squint. Remember, you're probably doing this at home or in your office with great lighting, and then you get out to the event, and especially if you're a DJ over 35 or 40 years old, the eyesight starts to go and the lighting is not great there. You don't want to be struggling with it. So I do everything in like 20 or 22 point font, one per page. It's really easy, big print. So hope that helps you when doing your scripting, and we made it today in under a minute, I think.